Hey guys, Mike from Nerd Problems Gaming here, and welcome to Nerd Problems Gaming, the channel where we go through the good and bad of everything nerdy to make sure you spend your time on the best of the best. In today's video, I'll be doing a review of Resident Evil Revelations, so let's get into it. So I actually have not played this game, and even though it's been out for a long time, I had kind of been avoiding it. And I think the biggest reason is I didn't really know what it was about. I thought that it was kind of just like a shoot off of the main series. I didn't really know that it intertwined with it at all. And so I just wasn't really ever sure of it. It kind of had like episodic things to it, so I thought that was a little bit weird, so I didn't really get it until I actually finally decided to pick it up, and I was actually pretty pleasantly surprised when I actually dove into it and gave this game a try. And so the game itself actually takes place between Resident Evil 4 and Resident Evil 5, and so that's pretty cool in and of itself. And you follow Jill Valentine and Chris Redfield, and they're with their respective partners in the game, and it's just kind of a cool play style. So the game itself is broken down into different episodes, and you kind of play just little snapshots as the story progresses. And what's cool with it is that you also kind of jump back and forth between the two characters. So typically with previous Resident Evil games, you'd like play through as the one character, and then once you beat it, you could go back and kind of play through the game again as the other main character and kind of see their perspective and their side of the story. Where with this one, it kind of jumps back and forth between the two storylines that are going on and how they kind of merge together. So it's kind of a cool twist on the overall play style of this series up until this point. And so I like that aspect with it, and it was kind of unique to be able to see both of those stories intertwining as well. And so the story itself just basically follows the BSAA, which is basically the anti-bioterrorism unit that Chris and Jill are a part of. And if you played Resident Evil 5, that part of the storyline continues as well, as he's still with that organization. And so basically there's this huge water city that got taken over by terrorists that kind of released these biological weapons, monsters, and they took over and kind of destroyed everything. Well, this terrorist group is back, and so they actually are threatening the world again with these bioterrorism weapons. And it's your job to stop them. And what's pretty cool and unique with this game is it takes place on a cruise ship, of all things. And so instead of being like a mansion or, you know, an underground lab that, you know, a lot of the other Resident Evil games take place in, with this one, you're all confined to a cruise ship. So it's kind of cool and unique spin on things. And then a lot of the monsters aren't your typical zombies. They're kind of like aquatic zombies mixed with, you know, marine animals, because that's kind of the theme going on in this game. And so they're kind of weird looking, crazy monsters that you're going to run into versus your typical run-of-the-mill zombies as well. Now the game itself has some interesting mechanics, so you're not going to find yourself jumping into the menu all the time like some of the other Resident Evil games to be able to switch weapons. You can actually completely do that through just the D-pad, and so that was kind of cool to be able to do that really quickly on the fly, switching weapons. And it's the over-the-shoulder third-person play style of like Resident Evil 4 and the later games, and so I really like that too. That was one of my favorite upgrades, I guess, to this series when they made Resident Evil 4, so they've carried that into this one as well. But basically you're going to be carrying 3 different weapons, and you can customize them, which is neat. So you're going to find these customization parts throughout the game, and you can actually mix and match them between different weapons. So you might make them stronger, hold more ammo, shoot faster, reload faster, right? Whatever the case might be, and you can combine these onto different weapons, so it's not like it's locked into place. Also, what's kind of unique to this game is that you'll still have the herbs like the other games, but you're not going to be able to like mix herbs like the red and green ones or anything like that. What's neat with this one is you've got this kind of biological scanner that you carry with you, and so you can use this to scan the zombies and monsters, and you'll earn a percentage point, and when it gets to 100%, what happens is you get like another refill on your health. So it's kind of a unique twist, but you can also use this to basically find hidden items in areas in the game as well. And so it allows you to pick up additional ammo, upgrades to weapons, and more when you're scanning around different rooms. And so normally these things are completely hidden unless you're using the scanner throughout the game. And so it did slow things down a little bit because I always kept wanting to scan the room to make sure I wasn't leaving anything behind. So it was a unique twist at some point, but at the same time, it kind of slowed down the action in the game. So I don't know if I'm necessarily a huge fan of it. Now with this game, unlike Resident Evil 4 and 5, you're not going to be picking up gold that you use to upgrade your weapons and expand different things. Those are like the customization parts that you pick up. So I really like that aspect of picking up the gold in those games and upgrading your stuff. So I wish that would have been in this one. But again, you can still find upgrades to your weapons throughout the game as well. The story itself is really good. It's entertaining. It's kind of a cool spin on things. Like I said, you're all confined in a cruise ship, so that creates some unique things. And then again, like how the monsters are created and, you know, double crossing things with partners and good guys and bad guys. You don't know who's who. So it's kind of cool as you're playing through the game to experience that storyline. But again, it really felt pretty linear. So you'd be playing these different episodes, like I said, and you might play for 15, 20 minutes and then the episode ends and then you jump to the next one. So there's kind of like this steady break in the action over and over again. So I don't know if I necessarily like that. I kind of like more the other traditionally how the Resident Evil games have been, where you play through the entire game as one character, kind of get immersed in that story, and then after you beat it, you can go back through and see the other people's perspective. So I kind of like that model better than jumping back and forth. But again, they were trying something new, so it was a cool game to play through either way. Now, when I first played through, I played through on normal, and it really was not that hard. There was 2 boss fights that were really hard, but pretty much the rest of the game was not really a challenge. Barely ever died, you know, unless I was stuck on some area that I didn't really know what to do, and then I might die here or there. But again, overall, the game was pretty easy. Another thing that was different with this game is that there wasn't really as much puzzles as the other Resident Evil games, where you're not really going to be finding a lot of different items and trying to figure out puzzles and scenarios to get another item that can help you progress further. You just kind of naturally found them as you were going through. So like I said, this was a little bit more linear than some of the other games, but it was still overall a good game. I will say too, I didn't think that the intensity was really as much there, where I felt in some of the newer Resident Evil games it was actually scary, right? And zombies were coming out of nowhere. You didn't really know what was coming, where this time it wasn't really as scary or intense as some of the other games. So that was a little bit of a letdown as well. Now there is a pretty cool mode to this game as well. It's got a raid mode, and so in this mode you actually can go through and play kind of mini scenarios throughout the game. So you're kind of going through the same areas that you went through in the storyline, but in this time you're just kind of going through trying to clear out the monsters, get a high score, and this time like the monsters all have levels and they have like health meters, and so you try and kill them as fast as possible. You see the damage that you're causing to them, and so it's a pretty cool unique twist on things. With it as well, you can play as a bunch of different characters, and they all have kind of unique abilities to them. Maybe they reload faster, or they're, you know, great with shotguns, right? Whatever the case might be, they all kind of have their unique abilities, so that's a cool twist with it as well. And it's neat too if you play this raid mode after you beat the main game, because you get this BP, or battle points I think it means, as you play through the storyline in the campaign. Well, now in this raid mode you can actually spend that money, spend those points, and buy new weapons, new upgrades, and things like that. So it's pretty cool to be able to mix and match all these different weapons and unique upgrades that you might not have found in the campaign, but now you have them as you're playing through. So like I said, your goal is pretty much just to kill all the monsters in these areas. You want to try and do it fast, you know, not getting hit. And then there's also kind of secret medallions and hidden things in the levels as well that you can break apart to get even more points to upgrade your character faster. So again, overall though, I was pleasantly surprised with this game. It had a good storyline, the combat was good. The intensity wasn't maybe there compared to other Resident Evil games, but the added features and the quality play style was definitely worth a playthrough. So if you haven't played this game, I would definitely recommend picking this up. But let me know in the comments below if you like this game a lot. Do you like the other play styles better? Do you like the old school tank controls or the original Resident Evil games? You know, let me know in the comments below. But again, guys, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to smash that like button, as it really helps out the channel. And if you haven't done so, be sure to subscribe and turn on those bell notifications to get the latest updates of nerd videos we put out here. And if you would like to help us support the channel, help us pick content, get early access and more, consider becoming a patron of ours over at nerdproblemsgaming.com/Patreon. Again, that's nerdproblemsgaming.com/Patreon. And if you'd like to plug into our live streams and Let's Plays we do on the channel, you can follow us over at nerdproblemsgaming.com/Twitch. Again, that's nerdproblemsgaming.com/Twitch. But once again, thanks for tuning in, and we'll talk to you more soon.